Hope everybody is doing well, feeling well, all the above. Is that not going to turn up my sound? Probably not. Okay, great. This is rather unplanned and impromptu. I mean, I sat here and I gathered information, but in prayer or meditation or thought this evening, some things kind of lined up, and I found a couple of videos that kind of lined up with things, and it's good to have these things in the same place. You may have heard all of this information before, but it might never have been presented to you all together. And so I just wanted to do that because it's kind of overwhelming. And excuse my lack of eloquence this evening. I'm going to do my best not to talk a whole lot. The disclaimers are in the description. I am not a medical doctor. I am not a legal professional. No part of this video is any such guidance. To seek such counsel, I suggest you go to your chosen professional, or don't. That's up to you. Everything shared here is per the Fair Use Act of 1976, Section 107, for the purposes of research and or education and or criticism. I am not giving any medical advice in this video. I'll say it again. We are doing research. There are source links you will be provided with, and you can do your own due diligence if you decide to do so. Now, I am going to be showing a couple of biblical scriptures that go with the information I'm going to be showing you. Now, numbers and formulas, you guys know that's not really my strong suit, but numbers as symbols I'm not too bad with. And as I've said, some of these numbers just attach to people whether you want them to or not. And so you can sometimes discern certain things. And I knew I had to do this video when I saw a specific piece of information, but let me get there because I have to lay a few things out first. So the number 6, on the 6th day in the garden, mankind was created. Now you have to create the habitat before you create the one that you're making the home for. And then once you make the one that you're making the home for, then the Sabbath was made. So we need to focus on legalities and law a little bit because it's very superficial. And when people say follow the commandments of Christ, I don't think they're understanding exactly what that means. I'm not a teacher. I'm not a preacher. But I guess I do preach, and I guess I do prophesy. Use whatever words you want. I'm not going to argue about semantics. This is definitely not about tooting my own horn. I'm very disappointed in myself, and I'm disappointed that I'm still here. And it's very hard trying to speak to other lost souls because I am still kind of lost. And we don't know exactly what time it is, but these things seem to be cyclical and they seem to repeat. And we know that this age will come to an end. And it's like right now we're going back to the beginning, but it's the end too. Because Christ was crucified and the sun turned into sackcloth and there was a quake. So there was an eclipse, there was a quake as he was being sacrificed. And that has not been forgotten for 2,000 years. Now, allegedly, the same thing happened with some mythical figures and other gods, little g gods. I'm not going to argue semantics. All I know is that things are cyclical for whatever reason. But again, I don't think that's permanent, and I don't want you to get lost in certain things here. So just let me get to where I'm going, I guess. So on the 6th day, man was created in the garden, okay? So let's go. Mankind. You know what? Let's do this first. I'm going to do this. I'm going to ask for your patience, even if you're not a Bible person. Because again, we are people who dig for answers and truth wherever it may be found. And so I want to show you kind of where I think we're at, or what's happening here. So this is Revelation 13. Revelation means apocalypse. It means a revealing. So apocalypse in and of itself doesn't mean tragedy or natural disasters in and of itself. It just means a revealing. So it says, and I saw a beast coming up out of the sea. That's important because Florida is connected to a lot of this. And I know that everything changed for me down there. Not that I'm any barometer, but I see the trend, you know what I mean? And all these people traveling back and forth from into Florida, and everybody propping Florida up about how, you should go there, and how DeSantis is doing these great things. I think everything is the opposite now, and I think they're trying to lure certain people to certain areas, and this is why we are told, in the end days, if Christ told people in Matthew, he said, if they say that I am, in the synagogue, or, in the whatever, in the desert, do not go. If you're hearing from other people, in other words, then obviously it's a lie. Because if you're of Christ, you will see him when he comes. You will know he's here. On its horn were 10 crowns. On its heads were blasphemous names. Now, in the Catholic Study Bible, and this is important because everybody pushes the KJV, and that's for a reason. Again, the KJV in and of itself is blasphemous. Once Christ came, the need for earthly kings, that should have stopped. Because a lot of kings and a lot of landlords, and you know this from medieval times, would have you call them my lord. And even the angels will tell you, don't bow to me, don't call me my lord. There's so many anecdotes about that, about, God's loyal angels, warrior angels telling mankind, don't bow to me. I'm here to deliver a message. And that's what's hard about this for me, is that just because people dislike the message, they oftentimes take that out on the person bringing the message, especially if that person has a sloppy history like I had from time to time. I have repented. I don't think you have to earn your way to heaven. However, I do think apparently I might be here for the time of the wrath, and that's frightening to me. And it should be to you too. And I think that's why, again, things are accredited to science and to quote-unquote space, because they don't want you to know that it's God doing these things. And they don't want you to know you're not hurling through space at how many miles an hour, risking life and limb, hurtling through this cosmic, whatever. And that's not how it is. We're protected. We're loved. And the other ones might feel trapped here, but that's just it. They didn't want to be with God in heaven, and that's what people keep saying, in videos and stuff. Oh, they're trying to get back up there. If they do want back up there, it's only to try and dethrone God, which that thought alone is just, you've got issues. So the beast I saw was like a leopard. I'm thinking like a leopard, black, sleek, from the sea, black goo, just kind of fits. Its feet were like a bear's. That could connotate Russia, but I'm not sure. So just let's keep going. And its mouth was like a lion's mouth. The dragon gave the beast his power, his throne, and great authority. One of its heads appeared to be fatally wounded, but its fatal wound was healed. One of the heads of the beast, Not them all, just one. The whole earth was amazed and followed the beast. They worshipped the dragon because he gave authority to the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, who is like the beast, who is able to wage war against it? I think that's AI and or the internet, the web. I just do. Again, their technology is being used against them because God made it all first. I believe angels are maybe what people would call in ancient times, magical or very high-techy. So I've heard things in the sky that sounds like they sounded like garbage trucks when this all began, and I told that story. But and people have caught these sounds on film and whatnot. I was kind of too amazed to do much of anything other than stand there and listen. Yeah. Anyways, I'm really trying. I'm sorry. It was allowed to exercise authority for 42 months. So 12 and 12 is 24. And then another one is 36. So a presidential term is how long? 4 years, right? A normal one, and that's 48 months. But if you were to cut that time short for the elect, which is another verse, but I'm not jumping there right now. If you were to cut that time short for the elect, that would be 6 months short. That would be 3.5 years. Now I'm going to jump to notes that I have here, and I hope it's here. The plague falls on the carry the mark, blah, 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 to Armageddon, battlefield, palace. Okay, hold on. Hold, please. I apologize. I've got like 3 books in front of me, and I'm really trying to do this because time seems pretty short for things, and I just want to make sure this gets out regardless. So I am looking for basically what this time is. 100, purity. Where am I? Hold, please. This is 13. 5. 13. Blah, blah, blah. 5. Okay. 100. Wait, no, that's not it. Hold on. Okay, anyways, this time here, the 42 months, that is the same amount of time that the 2 witnesses prophesy. It is the same amount of time that the woman is taken into the wilderness by the eagle, meaning she's hidden by some divine power. Don't know what that means, but that is. And one other thing, there's 3 of them, 3 commonalities there. And I can't find, oh, there it is. 42 months, 3 years and a half, 3.5 years. The 42 months of 30 days each correspond to the 2 witnesses and to the 3 years and a half of the woman in the wilderness. The period of 42 months is the symbol of a period limited in length and under the control of him who governs all things, which is God, him, capital H. So we're here, okay? I believe. I think. And again, it's very hard for me to say because I'm so secluded and tucked away. So anyways, it began to speak blasphemies against God, to blaspheme his name and his dwelling, those who dwell in heaven. That could almost be anything at this point. But it seems like AI is doing things like that, right? We've seen the ChatGPT videos and stuff. There's a lot of dark analog horrors on YouTube. Some of them, though, again, I do believe are people like me trying to use whatever their gift is to tell the story to people who don't know what's happening, right? And instead of saying, hey, here's the Bible, they're much more creative than me, and they're using stories, which is, again, I'm trying to reach people however I can, so I share all that stuff. And it was permitted to wage war against the saints and to conquer them. So to conquer them, is this like tracking? Is this like the AI and the targets and the target contact tracing, all that stuff? Is that what this is? And again, if you understand any of this or vibe with what I'm saying, please do consider giving the video a thumbs up. I just turned comments on in case anyone shows up. I know it's late, but now here's where I get a little disappointed and I don't know what to think here. This is 13:8. All those who live on the earth will worship it, everyone whose name was not written from the foundation of the world in the book of life of the Lamb who was slaughtered. Book of life of Christ, the book of life. So where are we? 42 months in length. The two witnesses, according to some authors, are Elias and Enoch, the Christian preachers, according to others. So we don't know. The beast. No beast as yet has been mentioned. This beast symbolizes the Antichrist. So he is not the Antichrist. He leads the way for the Antichrist. And again, everything's inverted and a counterfeit, much like John the Baptist led the way for Christ. The beast is leading the way for the Antichrist. John the Baptist, the beast. John the Baptist lived as a wild beast in the wilderness because society had gotten so depraved. Do you see how, like, it's so poetic, all of it, and it had to be inspired. And once you get the fullness of it and you read all of the books, so man was created on the sixth day. The number of the beast is 666. Man has carbon. Man is made of carbon. Man needs carbon to live. It is life-giving, and they're trying to take that away, aka population reduction. When they say carbon reduction, they mean less people. But by the time you figure it out, it's too late, which was also, I read from Agenda 2030, which I cannot find that document anywhere. It's not in my phone. I'll have to check. I have a couple other Google Drives I'll have to check. So 6 is the elemental number of carbon, which I'm going to jump to in a second. We're going to look at some science. So please be patient and thank you for being here. How long have I? Okay, not too bad. So carbon, 6. What was the other 6? 666. Okay, so we're going to jump to... Now this is what is disappointing here. All those who live on the earth will worship it. Everyone. Pretty much everyone. Sounds a lot like the internet. Technology, internet, AI type. All that stuff, it seems like. Okay? Everyone whose name was not written from the foundation of the world in the book of life of the Lamb who was slaughtered. So everyone on the earth is going to worship the beast. That's disconcerting. Like, why is everything still going on then if all those people are lost? Well, I think there's a translation issue here. So I'm privately going to jump over Revelation 13:8. Why am I not seeing that? Oh, there we go. Sorry. 13:8 says in the book, and all the inhabitants of earth will worship it, whose names have not been written in the book of life of the Lamb, who has been slain from the foundation of the world. See, so the wording is a little different. We'll go over that at another time. I'll look at it more tonight. But I don't think they're saying nobody there has hope. It's like, it's not a double negative. I don't want to say that. But it's telling you, all the inhabitants of the earth will worship it, whose names have not been written in the book, right? So everyone that's on the earth, whose names are not in the book of life, is going to worship this thing, okay? If any man has an ear, let him hear. He who is for captivity into captivity, he goes. So do you see how you're getting what you give there? If you're for capital punishment, for example, that's what you're going to get. So he who is for captivity into captivity, he goes. Okay? He who kills by the sword must he be killed. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints, which means do not allow yourself to be baited. I say this over and over and over again, not just for you, but for myself. Because it's on like Donkey Kong at this point. Like, that's what their goal is to bait you. They want you counted as guilty. We are to be as wise as serpents, but as blameless as doves. Don't harm anybody in this time. Christ never went around with a sword killing people. He didn't do that. And in fact, when violence happened around him, he gave himself up as opposed to seeing his friends, his best friends in the whole world, as opposed to seeing them get taken. Do you see? That's Christ. That's the Christ. If you don't know that Christ and you think you do, that's the Christ you need to search for and get to know. He is not violent. He is not anti-life. He's not anti-love. But he's not going to be nice for the sake of niceness, and he won't always have manners. And he's not always going to follow rules if there are rules that are put there without any purpose or meaning. Like not healing somebody. There is no rule against love. There is no law against love. Anything you do that's under the heading of love, you don't have to worry about repercussions, none of that stuff. Okay, but it has to be real love, and that's when you put somebody else first. All right, I'm sorry, I don't mean to babble. I know that people don't like that. I'm moving along. Again, if you understand this at a certain point, please consider giving the video a thumbs up so I know that my efforts aren't totally wasted here, because it's getting to the point where I feel like I'm talking to myself. But I pray, and I pray for you, and I've prayed before the videos. But I can see the times when Christ actually did get irritable, and it's not read like that. Like people, I guess it really depends on, that's why you need to read it yourself. But he didn't mince words. He was very direct and very straightforward with people. Okay? So we've got the number of the beast, and you know that what you are putting out there is what you're going to receive. So if anyone has ears to hear, let them listen. If anyone is to be taken captive, into captivity he goes. If anyone is to be killed with a sword he will be killed. This calls for endurance and faithfulness from the saints. See, now this is added. All right, hold up, because I don't like this. This right here, I'm not seeing this in my written Bible. What is that, 10? He who is for captivity, into captivity he goes. He who kills by the sword must he be killed. Do you see how that's different? That changes the whole meaning there. Hold up. I was using the Christian Standard because they changed the Catholic digital Bible too, and they made the beast a she instead of an it. And that's how I figured it was technology or an animal, something other, because they call it it. There is no gender or tribe to it. It's just called it throughout my physical Bibles here that are much older than this digital Bible. It says it, and I've showed you that. I've taken pictures and shown you in video, so if you've missed those, it is there. See, and so that it is ridiculous. There it is. Whoever will be led into captivity, no. See, that's not even there. Okay, I'm moving along, and I'm going to tell you. Hold, please. Basically, what it's telling you, okay, is that if you are somebody who's going to go at other people with a sword, down with a sword shall you go. If you are going to say, for example, I don't know, that certain people should just be gathered up and put away, that's what's going to happen to you. So hear me. This is your warning. I've been telling you this all along, that the ones who are going against other people's free will, the ones who are looking at targeted individuals or traditional Catholics or Christian conservatives or individualist thinkers or nonconformists, all of you who are wanting to reopen like insane asylums or to like put the homeless into jail or insane asylums, that is going to happen to you. Because that is what you want for others. Okay? You're going to be judged the way you're judging other people. Now, I've been corrected on this before and told, no, that's not what that verse means, because it's said again earlier in Scripture. And they're like, no, that's just a worldly, secular meaning. No, it's not. It sounds like karma, but again, it's just consequences for your actions and your attitudes. Now, so I want to show you this. So carbon is also element number 6, and we are made of carbon. And you probably know that, right? But I want to also take you to just a couple little things that I thought were worth mentioning in the time that we're in. So where is it? Is that it? Right there. So under the electron configuration, we have He, which I think stands for helium, 2s, 22, P2. Okay, 222. I did a video telling you about 222 and about how they love that number, okay? So there you go, that. I can't see what you're saying. I apologize. My God, but God has forsaken me. I love Christ. My God, but God has forsaken me. No, that seems like you might be AI. I'm sorry. And again, if you're not AI, you could consider clicking the thumbs up button so that I don't just ignore you or what have you. Now, what is this? Why are you doing this to me? Don't do this to me. Okay. So, oh, shoot, there's my name. Beautiful, Jen. Please don't do that. Oh, please. Everybody knows my name, though, at this point. Like, it's ridiculous. All right, hang on. Okay, sorry about that. Now what you want to do is look at this. I was looking at stuff, and this is why I was looking at stuff. I'm going to play a little part of a video for you. And I already got covered. I already got the disclaimers. I already got all that stuff pulled up, okay? I want to show you this part of a video that I shared. I just found it tonight, and it's kind of what prompted me to do this video. And I found it on a playlist of another man who seems like he was targeted 7 years ago, who has since disappeared from the internet. Thank you for pressing the like button. I appreciate it. Wait, what? You talking about carbon 16? What is your name? Yeah, that's kind of a cultic name right there. Yeah, I might have to turn comments off just so I can get through this. It's distracting. I apologize. I usually don't censor, but it is what it is. Okay, so here, I want you to watch this for a minute. I already got the disclaimers up. This person has not posted in 11 years, and it's probably due to what they were showing. I'm not going to show you the whole thing. If you want to see the whole thing, the link's already in the description. So, again, I'm not offering medical advice, none of that stuff. I just want you to see what is out there, okay?
Historic records prove the secret intensification of the biological weapons race in America make the Soviet efforts pale by comparison. Here to prove it are 3 of the most stunning and condemning documents in biological warfare history. First is a never declassified congressional record of 1969, showing the Department of Defense requested $10 million to develop, quote, synthetic biological agents for germ warfare.
If you're here from Reddit and you stayed, thank you. If you are a younger person and you stayed, thank you. This is exactly why people today do not trust the government, because of things like this that they have done and are doing. And it all goes back to the fall, and I know you're not going to believe this. I don't care if you call them aliens. I don't care what you call them. They're of God. They come from somewhere else. This is not their home, no matter how many times they want to tell you the Mandela effect, you're in a different world, you need to leave. This is our place. God made this for mankind. He gave them a place. They gave it up. They didn't want it. Now they want us as guilty as them. If they cannot ruin the image of God within us through tampering with things and tinkering, as in the days of Noah, like they did then, They are trying any way they can at this point in time to corrupt us because they know that judgment is coming and they want us as guilty as they are. They want us to give up our first estate, which is terra firma, earth, Eden. They want it. But it's not theirs to take. I pray to God that He has a plan to save everybody, even, the fallen ones, because we're fallen too. But they've already seen heaven and they gave it up. They didn't want to be there. They don't want to go back, I don't think, unless, again, it's to rule. And that's, to me, it's all politics. Like, I don't like being in the middle of it, but you do have to choose a side. Now, again, I'm just going to show I'm not going to show this whole thing, but if you've never heard information like this, it's very important that you don't just shut down, okay? People have been risking their lives to put information like this out since the beginning. Christ lost His life for things of this nature. The saints, the martyrs, the, nonconformists. People have lost their lives. That shouldn't matter to us. Now, just because I don't think death is permanent doesn't mean I think anybody's journey here, whatever this is, the sandbox practice video game run simulation, that is very serious. But again, death is not a permanent state, I don't believe. And Christ showed us that. But they want us as guilty as they are. So they want you to be baited into violence. They want you corrupted and to put very, very bad things into your body. The funny thing is, as we've done research on DNA, and according to scientific studies, I'm not an expert. Do not look at this, is not my research. I'm just following the trails. But allegedly, trauma can change your DNA. And if that's true, what's going on with all these people they're putting into jail? And again, I think they're setting people up. Here, take this DNA test. You want to find out if the baby's yours? Take this DNA test. That's you offering it to them. You're consenting to somebody collecting that. You don't know what they're going to do with it. You never watched Dateline where they say, well, and I've heard this when I was binging on Dateline. They tell the same story over and over again for a reason. To get it into your subconscious. Because again, we have helpers here and we have those who are not helpers. But many, many times it talks about how detectives were so tenacious, they never let up, and they finally caught a break when the suspect was outside on a lunch break and flicked a cigarette into a public ashtray, and that's how they collected the DNA. I mean, if you believe that, we're already lost. It's time to open your eyes, but nobody cares if it's not affecting them right now. People don't care, and this is why judgment is so strong, and people are so deluded, like they're being given over to the lies that they want to believe. Whatever that delusion is for you, they're making it. So again, I don't care if you call them angels, aliens, they're not our friends. Not these ones, not the ones that are down here hanging out with our government. So, synthetic biological agents for germ warfare. End quote. I'm quoting. That's not my words. I'm not a doctor. I'll repeat that over and over.
End quote. Through the National Academy of Sciences, National Research Council, that is the NAS-NRC. That's nearly half of the amount of money given to all of biological weaponry that year. These new laboratory creations were descriptively and functionally identical to HIV/AIDS.
That should ring alarm bells in your memory. Now, I can Google it after we watch a little bit more of this. But you guys know how my memory is with this stuff. I don't forget things like this. When CV first came out and they were doing all these tests and stuff, I can't remember if it was treatment or they were just saying a lot of really bizarre things. about how it was coming and showing up in people, and it was telling, even husbands and wives not to share a bed. Like, it was just very bizarre stuff. And oh, it's in the toilet water, and oh, it's here and it's there. And again, a lot of this at first is fear. But when it says, like the days of Noah, and that the fallen angels in the book of Enoch sinned against man and beast of the sea and beast of the air, this is how. They wanted to give themselves bodies. The marine spirits are some of them, I'm certain. Greek mythology has them all over it. So again, it's all perspective. Do you think those beings are doomed? I don't. That's not what I choose to do or where I choose to go, but hey, I think there's water beyond the firmament, and I think the Bible is also a map. And if I have time, I am going to get into that with you guys, because if it is a map and the gates are really open and the gates of Eden have been opened up, then we can physically go there. Anyways, let's not get lost, because this is important.
Mind you, this was 15 years before the contested discovery of the AIDS virus by this man, Dr. Robert Gallo, who, as you will see in a minute, oversaw Litton Bionetics, the Army's sixth leading biological weapons contractor at that time. Bionetics also operated the entire administration of the National Cancer Institute's programs at Fort Detrick at that time as well.
Cancer? Have you seen all the links about people faking cancer right now? I don't know, man.
This private company was a medical subsidiary of the mega military weapons contractor called Litton Industries. Litton's president, Roy Ash, was Nixon's alternate for the National Security Advisor post he gave to Kissinger.
Nice.
In consolation, the president
Some real
made
winners
Ash
there.
his White House chief of the American business and industry. As Roy Ash was joining the Nixon White House staff, Kissinger ordered Admiral Zumwalt of the Navy to do a reassessment of America's biological weapons capabilities.
Keep in mind, this was posted 12 years ago. Oh, here's the description if you want to read it. When TV started, they were still showing that same image of Kissinger. I think some of these are like proxies for the people that they actually are. And I think the same thing happens with the royal family. And I haven't decided yet if their proxies actually are them, or if the proxies are like them because they all made oaths to them. That's what the Freemasonic thing, like, I'm pretty sure you make certain oaths, and it's definitely not to communal living and sharing and charitable acts.
The Navy has always been at the forefront of such things. Bioweapons were cheaper to make and could be made to target certain people, even certain ethnic groups. There is no doubt that Fort Detrick's sudden cancer focus was part of a greater depopulation plan. According to congressional records and his biographer, Time magazine's managing editor, Walter Isaacson, Kissinger selected the option presented by Admiral Zumwalt to develop AIDS-like and Ebola-like bioweapons. And the contract went to his White House colleague's company, Litton Bionetics.
Shame.
There is now no doubt that Dr. Gallo officiated the development of these AIDS complex viruses. His group at Bionetics combined leukemia, lymphoma, and sarcoma viruses from various species of animals nearly 15 years before he was credited by the Department of Health and Human Services.
Various species of animals. Pay attention. Number of the beast. Injectables. Sinned against the animals of the sea and the animals of the air. This is no joke. Like, people think this is science fiction, or they'll say, oh, you're crazy, you've gone insane. Really? Read all the disclaimers in my video. See how now I make sure that I source everything and that I'm mindful of my words. And please tell me again how insane I am, because I wish that I was. if I'm insane, so are these scholars and doctors and theologians and experts and professionals who have been quieted and their voices have been taken away. Because who can fight against the beast, right? And part of me wants to say it's almost like the beast is the military-industrial complex. Or the UN. Hold up. How many crowns does the beast... Shit. Let me write this down. Hold, please. Beast. Crowns. Because crowns equal empires, right? A crown, 1 crown per empire. So how many empires are a part of the UN? How many nations are in the United Nations? Anybody know the answer to that real quick? Oh, I turned comments off, didn't I? Oh, sorry. Okay, I'll look at that after. Okay, I apologize.
For having discovered the cause of AIDS, a similar retrovirus. They said this would lead to a cure, an AIDS vaccine within 3 years. It never happened. I managed to catch up to Dr. Gallo at the 11th inter...
I wanted to mention, too, there are some people who say that things like this are plagues sent by God. It's very possible that they are plagues, and that man, these fake IA images or whatever they are taking credit for it and taking the fall, because, again, they want to hide God from you in every way. They don't want you to know that the good things are from God, and that maybe some of the shakeups that happen are from him too, trying to get our attention, saying, hey, I'm here, I see what you're doing down there, I do care, I love you, behave. Why do you think it's the whole world is like an amusement park? Why do you think they don't want you out in nature? It has nothing to do with conservation. It has nothing to do with caring for our resources. It has everything to do with them wanting to either corrupt the image of God within us or our temples, or B, they want to jump in them. Like they want them for their own. This is why you see so much tinkering with all these different things. I'm just in awe of how much God just like drops in our laps. Again, if you understand my rambling, please don't hesitate to give the video a thumbs up, just for my sake. Again, it doesn't do much else.
National Conference on AIDS in Vancouver in 1997. I asked him if he was concerned that some of his experiments might have given rise to the AIDS virus, or AIDS virus relatives, that might have contaminated monkeys and chimpanzees shipped by Lytton to the Merck's vaccine division in New York for the production.
And also, sin against is to go against natural law, go against nature. So regardless, them tinkering with genetics in this way, God uses people to accomplish his means, as well. So he could be allowing these plagues to happen for our promiscuity as a society. The STDs, all that type of stuff. And again, these things come from sin, from doing things against the nature, the physical nature of your body, and or maybe the spiritual nature, the laws we can't see, but we know they're there. You see it in nature. That's why the one man who looks around and says there is no God is a fool. Who made all this then, man? Where did it all, it's insane. We're all insane.
Of the earliest hepatitis B vaccines. Here is the exchange Dr. Gallo eventually apologized to me for. He was obviously aggravated.
Check this
Do you
out.
have any concern that your early experiments in taking simian virus 40 in the presence of simian foamy retroviruses and recombining them with cat leukemia and chicken leukemia sarcoma viruses might have given rise to HIV or its relatives following their culture in human tissues?
Same panic.
And that these mutants could have contaminated some live viral vaccines produced in contaminated monkeys and chimps supplied to vaccine manufacturers through your affiliates at Lytton Bionetics.
See the roll of the eyes? See the body language? Real exaggerated. He knows he's caught. But now he's going to condescend because he's the one with the degree and the expert. You got to learn how to observe people, man.
Quite frankly, I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Make a joke now and get everybody the laugh at the guy. No, get everybody to laugh at him.
I'll cite your paper, Dr. Gallo.
If you can, you've got
I
a
certainly-
paper. You've got a paper that I don't know I ever published.
Okay.
I sure like you to cite it. Would you begin?
I'd be happy to. National Academy of
There he
Sciences,
goes.
1970, Gallo et al. It was an oral presentation that you presented before NATO and NATO audiences in Mol, Belgium. You published it. It's in the National Academy of Sciences. I'd be happy to show you the
Okay,
paper.
stop. I mean, this is
And what's wrong with dude's finger? There's a comment. Hold up, I gotta show you this because it's wild. Okay. Yeah. Oh shoot, where'd it go? Alright, hold on. I gotta show you because it's part of all this, so. Shoot, where are you? Carbon. Oh, fiddle dee dee, did I lose it? There it is. Take a close look at this man Gallo's background and then start studying the Talmud and what's to become of Gentiles. They make fun of us because we believe in Jesus, right? But they're blinded. They're not allowed to see that he's the Messiah, their own Messiah, number one. Number two, those who have the hardened hearts or know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They know there is a God. And they know they chose another way, another route. They chose to have magical powers and do these other things and steal other people's, but like it just gets really bizarre, okay? Please note a reference is made about non-Jews as beasts in human form. I read some of the Talmud on this channel, on the original channel, because I wanted to know for myself. I don't like to take secondhand information. And it's dirty. Like, it's how people could say that they're faithful or that they, have some type of righteousness in them and then use some of the words alone that are in that book. So please note a reference is made about non-Jews as beasts in human form. This is not just science. It's not just healthcare. This is about so much more. If you're not in their group, if you don't have the same genetic, if you're not of their quote-unquote ethnicity, because we're one race, well, mankind is, we're a race. Angels each have their own race, which is wild, because they're so diverse. And hence, I think, again, that's why you're seeing, like, all these TikTok videos and stuff. I don't think those are individuals. I don't think those are men and women. I think they're fallen beings, so to speak, or they're, possessed by them. But I know how that sounds, but listen. Please note a reference is made in the Talmud about non-Jews as beasts in human form. To serve them, cellular RNA mixing animal DNA with human DNA, turning Gentiles into beasts in human form. This is one man involved in this diabolical plan. Comment sections are treasure troves for leads to other more in-depth articles, links, research, and rabbit holes, all kind of things.
I mean, this is beyond asinine.
Yeah, he's
In
making
Mol,
fun of him
Belgium,
now.
My first trip to Europe, so I can remember it.
Nice finger.
A NATO meeting did take place. NATO meetings fund all scientific meetings all over the world, even East-West at that time.
so I'm
Biologic
finding that one,
meetings,
guys.
scientific, chemistry
There it
meetings,
is.
all kinds of meetings about motherhood, fatherhood.
What is with Gallo's little finger? It's bent. Yeah, but too bad you don't notice the other fingers too in that hand sign. If you ever open your eyes to that, then a whole world opens up. That was thrown in your face your whole life, but you never noticed. Blind, even though it was thrown in your face constantly. People are trying all over to wake their fellow men and women up, and you don't want to listen. Everybody likes their toys and their comfort and their luxury too much. And like, you're going to have a really, really bad eternity because of that. Like, you don't have to choose that. All these things turn to dust. None of this stuff is forever. We can be. Love is. There's no law against that. But this has to be a concerted effort. We can't just sit back and wait for someone to save us. We're supposed to cooperate with the plan of salvation to be redeemed again so that we can be restored from all this tinkering, most of which we didn't do. And in the book of Enoch, it says that all of these sins will be ascribed to one fallen angel, one of them. Thank you for the thumbs up. I appreciate that.
And what I talked about in Mold, Belgium, was in the 1960s.
Watch what he says.
Before gene cloning took place, before I ever worked in virology. What I talked about was cellular transfer RNA. Okay?
Did you see it? See it? What does that remind you of? What's going on today? Come on, guys. Put all this stuff together, please. It is so late in the game. This is why it's so important to pray over your food, to ask for protection, to say that you don't consent to any of this so that you are not held accountable or into some type of spiritual bond with these people, with these devils. They're literal devils. And I'm mostly white, and I'll say it, these white devils. Like, they're straight up devils. Like, I can't even, I'm just blown away. I can't, yeah.
And that's Mold, Belgium. Proceedings of the National Academy of Science, an SB40. I never published a paper in my life. An SB40, except the transfer RNA species. In SB40 transformed hamster cells compared to non-transformed cells as a control. You've got pineapples, kiwis, grapes, and cherries mixed in with...
It's funny, he said pineapples, kiwi, when the worldwide injectable campaign was taking place. I think it was the president of Nigeria was saying no, and he was saying how they were finding CV in fruit, like it was already present, it was already there. And now, the other day we read about certain things being in the fruit and vegetables. We literally need to pray for manna from heaven. I think this is why some of us, we're not hungry a lot. God is keeping us preserved. For what purpose? I don't know right now. But not everything is bad. But if you don't speak up, and if you don't try to tell your relatives or your loved ones, even if God is the only one who can wake them up, right? He still has to use us. We're still not, if we're supposed to sit here on our hands, well, then what's the purpose of us being here? This is all to develop our self-awareness and our morality and our moral compass and our ethics and our love for each other, our compassion, our empathy, all those things. So even the demons and the fallen ones have a purpose. Allow it to refine you, operate within and function within the purpose that God, the Most High, has for us, because it's a loving one. We are beloved. They want to ruin us. They want us counted as guilty as they are, and they want us to give up our state, which is the earth. And where would we go then? Do you see what I'm saying?
Some other tutti frutti. I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Excuse me.
Typical gaslighting. Now he's offended.
And
He's so
Gallo,
offended.
Sarin et al. Were Lytton Bionetics researchers were your co-authors in which you combined cat leukemia and chicken sarcoma viruses to create evaluate the leukemia sarcoma complex models.
I'm really smart. Yes, we did it. Everything was created by us working in the laboratory. Look, just for those with some little bit of understanding of this, who care about this kind of idea. I've had a lot of things said, but I've never had anything quite like that one. There were people who thought and made postulations that, it was not actually directed at me, this is a good one, a new one, but that HIV could have been created in laboratory experiments. There are two answers to that are definitive, conclusive, that no scientist could have deliberately created them unless he was a super genius and 10 years ahead of his time. The AIDS virus definitively existed long before molecular cloning. That's point one. Point two, We know the full sequence. The genome of HIV was published by our lab in 1985 and by a group from Paris around the same time. The genome has no homology to any known existing virus in the world, except SIV discovered after it. Has nothing to do with cats, has nothing to do with chicken sarcoma viruses. SV40 is a DNA virus that comes from little animals that can transform cells in culture, has no sequences in HIV. Further, we never worked with SV40 with those viruses together, and if we did, the whole thing would be irrelevant. And I think you need to begin with Biology 101 high school, okay?
These documents, including the U.S. government contracts, best explain how AIDS emerged on two far-removed continents in black Africans and gay New Yorkers by 1978. These were...
Now let's hold up here. Because again, God used Moses to bring the plagues upon the nation of Egypt. Okay? God always uses someone here. We are the mouths, the feet, and the hands of God while we are here. Okay? We are placeholders for Christ. So it's very possible that he allows this tinkering to occur and become a plague for our iniquities. It happened then, and it's happening again now. It happened in the 1800s. Every time things go sideways, okay? When you go against nature, which is what that group of people, individuals does, bad things are going to occur. And I know people don't want to hear this message. I know you don't want to hear it, but all you got to do is look to nature. You don't see that happening in nature. If you're really with someone because you love them, you don't even necessarily have to be physical with them. I knew a woman who was in a wheelchair for most of her life after she got an injectable. And her husband was amazing to her, carried her up the stairs every night. That's love. If you really love someone, you could live with them and be with them and refrain from doing that type of a thing to not go against nature. Because that brings judgment upon not just you, but almost everyone you touch too. I know this because of my own iniquities that I've committed. Sammy's dreaming. And I probably lost everybody there. Yeah, a couple. It's just the truth. And I know, again, I already know what's going to happen. Like, I know there is a great possibility of something that will occur to me. And it is because of these videos entirely. Now, I have to show you one more thing in this video, and then this video will be done. And I will throw together a couple more things for after this, and another upload or something. I already have a name in here. I have everything on, right? Okay. Do you know who that is? And again, I don't want to talk a lot because I know what this is going to bring. Okay, so symbolically, you're seeing a lot of this. And I've already gone over all this, so I really don't want to do it again. Because I know what people think, and it's just, I just don't care. So here's his name. But for some reason, it does something weird. On the last part of his name, it makes a space in between the A and the V. I don't know why it does that, honestly. I've tried it a few times, and it keeps doing that. Do you see that number? Do you see the number right there for the Hebrew gematria? It's still just 666. 1 times 666, right? Now, watch this, because this gets really wicked. All right, so we're talking about the 666 again, right? I was looking for the patent number for the one injectable from this company because I'm pretty sure it's 666 too, okay? But everyone who wants to say this is not the time of the Antichrist, this is not tribulation, this is not the... Keep watching. Okay, so we've talked about spirals being true representations of time according to cave drawings. That's what I think. I don't think time is linear. I think this is what it is showing, is the cycle of time. Unfortunately, one of the things that I love, rainbows and spirals, are apparently symbols for those who are trying to remove the age of consent between men and boys specifically. Men and boys specifically. What kind of rumors have we heard about what kind of people and families are into that? That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say nothing else about that because it's speculation. It's rumor based. I don't know. I'm just saying. The rumor's out there. Okay, so I don't want to look at the first one. Spiral office. Spiral building. Okay, so this is wild. Now this is Pfizer moves on up to the west side, establishing new nerve. Come on, man. New nerve center at Hudson Yards Spiral skyscraper. I had no idea there was such a building. I think it's awesome though that they got plants on there. That's pretty cool. But I like old architecture a lot better. Located on 34th Street between 10th Avenue and Hudson Boulevard, Pfizer's new headquarters occupies 11 floors. For more than 60 years, there's the 6 again. Okay, wait. Okay, Manhattan's Grand Central Terminal and the UN. All right, for more than 60 years, Pfizer has operated out of a revamped Revolutionary Era building near Manhattan's Grand Central Terminal and the UN. Okay, New York is like capital of the world. And now Pfizer is pulling back the curtain on its new home base at the Spiral in New York City's Hudson Yards. Can I get an address? Just show me the address. I've already done this. You guys showed it to me immediately the first time. No, it talks about CV, blah, blah, blah. No, stop it. Okay, so we're going to do this because this is just... Oh, boy. You guys are giving me such a hard time. No, man, come on. Okay, Pfizer's logo outside its new Hudson Yards headquarters has officially unveiled its new headquarters in New York, the Spiral and office tower at 66 Hudson Boulevard at Manhattan's Hudson Yards. 66, but wait, there's more. Let's look at the other address. New York locations. Now, who does this unless they're doing it on purpose? So we have 66 Hudson Boulevard, but there's another one that I was able to find. And there's another one. Has 22 office locations. 22 located throughout the U.S. Okay, hold on. There's another. Where did it move from there, though, before that? New York. Is it this one? No. Manhattan sideways. There you go with the sideways thing. I told you guys all about that. I just want the address. 212-733-2323. 6 at the end there. Oh no, that's 3. 3232. Yeah, that's like 33 and 66 there. You got the fallen ones and the 66. The KJV, which in itself is kind of blasphemous because it's calling it the King James. Okay? That should tell you right there what's wrong with that. If you say Jesus is the King of Kings, why are you reading that one? I think you can get the truth from it, but I think there are, again, there's curses attached to it. And God tells us, you're either blessed or cursed. That's, witches take all that and they want to do it themselves. And they want that power and they want to be able to, you ask God, hey, bless this person. Hey, give this person whatever you think they need, right? Prophets sometimes can curse people. But most of them, it breaks their heart and they don't do it purposely. There was another previous address that I found and it also had 66. So, is it just... Is this the only one? Did it just show me the same thing a couple of times? 66 Hudson Boulevard. That's the same, right? Anyways, I wanted to show you guys that they've got like the 66 and 22 all over the place. Like all over the place. 66 Hudson Boulevard. Alright, is this the only one? How would I find out if there's more, though? Let's do one last search. All New York. Because I don't like leaving things undone. P-F-I-Z-E-R. Location addresses. Let's just... Okay, so we got... more than 35... What is the new address? 66 Hudson Boulevard. How about what is the old address? Can you tell me that? Kalamazoo, Michigan. Huh. Johnson & Johnson is their competitor. We know all this. Where is Pfizer headquarters in Hudson Yards? So 66 Hudson Yard at the Spiral. And what's the other one? Doesn't the other one say Pearl something? Where did I see that? Anyways, guys. Where was Pfizer, New York? Oh, here we go. It's an American multinational pharmaceutical and biotechnology corporation headquartered at the Spiral in Manhattan, New York City. And I told you who was pushing it, and the Mormons, like the churches are all over it. 5013C, C is 3. 50133. Like, it's just amazing to me. Founded and company, Red Brick Building in Brooklyn, Ohio. Not Brooklyn, New York. Ohio on the Brinks, that's where I'm at. Can you just get away from me? Go away. 1849. 1868. Maiden Lane in Manhattan. 81 Maiden Lane. 1882. Chicago. There we go. And what did I tell you about all these places? It's like we're all just experimental areas. New Jersey. Where all the Slender Man videos in New Jersey and Florida. And something else was in New Jersey that's like a big deal recently. I figured out and I can't remember what it was. Emil, he was president, blah, blah, blah. Charles Pfizer, Rhode Island, blah, blah, blah. I just wanted to know where the other location was before the Spiral Avenue. Oh. Let me see. Located before Spiral. Spiral Avenue. Oh, jeez. Where were you before that, though? I could have swore I saw 2 addresses, guys. If I find the other one, I will post it in the comments for you. But I had to show you all the numbers that are all over all of this and that video that I had stumbled upon. I know everybody probably saw this information before, but maybe it'll give you a jump start to say, okay, I got to start taking, my walk with God serious. I got to start taking my own healthcare into my own hands, doing research and being my own voice and advocate, not allowing somebody to put something into me just because they say I should, regardless, of what reason they give. Headquarters, the Spiral. Where else were you? I just wanted to know where you were before. Now look, their total assets increased in 2023. But the other stuff looks like it went down. I'm telling you, this ain't... And this is like when you start hiding money and laundering money and all that stuff. Spiral in Manhattan. I'd really like to know who designed that building. Why did you call it that? And yeah. I'd really like to know that. I might have to look at that next myself. Pfizer's growth. By now, we insert ditches at Berlin, beginning the city of Greater New York. Retaining offices on Flushing Avenue. I could have swore another one had the 66. Fiddlesticks. All right, well, I'll look for it. I know it's late, you guys. I'm going to end this. Thank you for sticking around. I hope this information helps somebody. Let me just make sure on my notes here that I went through the basics that I wanted to touch base with you guys on. Yep, I think so. Okay. Oh my, those are all no good. Candidiasis. Hold up. Wow, I'm gonna have to look at some of this. Popdol. This gets wicked. Wow. And they literally just want everybody medicated. And I'm not saying that it doesn't help certain people at certain times. I'm not a doctor. I'm on medication that helps me. But there's there's just got to be... We've got to be our own advocates. Because the information is out there. Wow. Huh. I didn't know that. All right, guys. Thanks for watching.